Xai'xais ancient forests have thrived for thousands of years. These forests are more than just trees. They are life, culture, and home to the people who have owned and stewarded this land since time immemorial. The forests stretching from Aristobal Island on the outer coast to the fjord forest vary from small red and yellow cedars to towering cedars, spruce, hemlock, and balsam. These forests are rich with wildlife, ecosystems, and cultural significance. They have provided for the Kitasoo people shelter, culture, food, medicine, and spiritual values. In the early 1900s, when industrial logging first arrived in Kitasoo territory to feed the pulp mill at Swanson Bay, the methods were a far cry from practices used today. Back then, loggers used handsaws, axes, and A-frame wooden structures with cables to pull the massive trees down into the water, and hand loggers skidded massive trees down into the ocean. Trees were not planted, and Mother Nature was left to reforest harvested areas, and she did a pretty good job. But today, things have changed. In 1996, the Kitasoo Nation formed the Kitasoo Forestry Company to take back control of their forests. In 2012, Kitasoo Forestry Company entered into a joint venture with Western Forest Products, enhancing the nation's ability to oversee how the forest is harvested and to create profits for the nation. This partnership ensured that all forest activities reflect the Kitasoo deep culture, connection to the land, and their commitment to sustainable practices. A landmark moment came in 2006 when the Kitasoo and other First Nations successfully negotiated with the provincial government to protect 50% of the forest in Kitasoo territory from logging forever. But the Kitasoo people can still use these areas for cultural purposes. The other half of the forests is used for economic activities, but only under strict guidelines of ecosystem-based management that protect environmental and cultural values while allowing logging. In the past 50 years, logging has focused on Roderick Island, Pulley, and nearby islands. Old logging roads have grown over naturally, and the forests are thriving. Today, active logging is happening only on Pulley Island, with all operations run from a barge camp at James Bay. Before any logging happens, careful planning takes place. Engineers, silviculture specialists, archaeologists, biologists, and Kitasoo Stewardship Authority survey the land to protect important trees, streams, wildlife, and cultural sites. Logging plans take time to prepare and must be approved by the Kitasoo Nation, Council, and the provincial government. Kitasoo Forestry Company, Western Forest Products, Kitasoo Stewardship Authority, and the Kitasoo Nation Council all work together to plan forest operations. The current project on Pulley Island was approved in 2022, and crews are working hard to harvest the trees responsibly. Once logging is done, the logs are shipped south to be sorted and sold. Profits from logging go back into the community to support local projects, stewardship, well-being, and economic opportunities. But the work doesn't end there. The logged areas must be replanted with trees from the same area to recreate the original forest. Tree planters have planted over 1 million seedlings in the last 12 years, and silviculture crews will return to ensure the trees are growing well. Once the young forest is free to grow, it is left to grow on its own. The replanted areas on Pulley and Roderick Islands are already growing into young forests. Forests planted 5, 15, and 20 years ago are growing back strong. When the current logging is finished, all areas will be replanted. Mother Nature will put the roads to bed, and the cycle will continue for the future generations to care for. What happens next is up to them.